Why can't I just think like normal people? Why can't I just fit in with everyone else my age? And I don't talk to a single person from high school, not one. And honestly, that's exactly how I want it to be. Throughout high school, I felt isolated, depressed, and completely lost. But now I'm focused on elevating my life. I've already built a 6-figure business. I'm pushing myself every day and constantly trying to become the best version of myself. The biggest thing that holding me back was the people that I surrounded myself with. In this video, I'll break down why and how I cut off everyone from high school, how it changed my life, and why you might need to do the same. There are 3 harsh truths about friendships that no one talks about. And if you're feeling stuck in life, this might be exactly what you need to hear. A lot of people hold on to old friendships out of guilt, but if you're serious about improving and making the most out of your life, then sometimes you gotta make the hard decision to move on. Workout done, shower complete, coffee made. Before we get too deep into this video, I need to take you guys back to my childhood and tell you 2 different stories that will make the rest of this video make more sense. As I said before, I now own a 6-figure construction business, but it wasn't always like that. If we take it back to when I was a young child, I had 2 different dreams. One of those was playing a pro sport. Maybe it was football, basketball, I didn't care, I wanted to be a pro athlete, just like any other kid that age. Well, that obviously didn't work out. My other biggest dream was being an inventor. At that time, I didn't even know what that meant. How did people actually go about the process of inventing something? How does that turn into a business? I wasn't even aware of the word entrepreneur at that age. All I knew is that I wanted to invent things. I also had a journal that was built with that real leather with the strings that tie around it. And inside there, I would jot down all of my different ideas of things that I could invent. Someone that I drew a lot of inspiration from was my grandpa. Like a lot of us do, they are important authority figures in our lives. My grandpa has always been a part of the rope industry. You know the ropes that they use with, I don't know the terminology, but horses, bulls, cattle, in the NFR, and he even owned an arena at one point. Anyways, my grandpa was the inventor of the rope that they use 99.9% of the time nowadays. My grandpa was a pioneer in that industry. And as a little kid, I was so inspired by that. I even sat him down one day with that journal that I was talking about, looking up to him and asking questions about his business. How did he come up with his idea? How did he turn it into a reality? And how did he build this business that was blooming? It wasn't until later on in life that I was able to do a lot of realization and look back and be able to connect the dots, realizing that wanting to be an inventor was actually me wanting to be an entrepreneur. The reason I tell you that story is for you to understand that that entrepreneurship, business-driven mindset has always been a part of my soul from the beginning. The second story comes from when I was a little bit older, and I believe that this happened when I was just in my early years of high school. At that point in life, my inner dialogue was already built around self-improvement and growth. Deep down at my core, I always knew that I was gonna be incredibly successful. Out of curiosity one night, I sat down with my mom and I asked her, when you were younger, did you always have this feeling that you knew you were gonna be incredibly successful one day? And don't get me wrong, success is measured in so many different forms, and my mom is absolutely the greatest woman on planet Earth and has succeeded in so many different ways. But it was in that second when she told me no, that it changed my life forever. I told you those 2 stories because I need you to understand who I am in order to understand the rest of this video. Throughout high school, it was extremely hard for me to fit in and connect with anyone. I actually had some notes here because if you've been watching my stuff, you know that articulation is something I struggle with and am seeking to improve, and that's why I had some notes to help me with this, but I just want to try to speak from the heart right now. As I said, throughout my whole life and high school, my inner dialogue was filled with self-improvement, growth, being business-driven. It's who I've always been at my core, in my soul. No one else at that time in my childhood was like that. No one thought like that. No one thought like me. I felt like that for so long. Eventually I started to think, what is wrong with me? Why me? Why do I have to be like this? Why can't I just think like normal people? Why can't I just fit in with everyone else my age and just have fun? And that really got to me. That drove me into such a deep depression for so long. I hated myself. I hated my life. That's how much I struggled with that. I remember I used to talk to my mom all the time. I legit thought there was something wrong with me. That whole entire time throughout high school, I suppressed who I was. I wasn't able to live in my true self, my true mind, my true body, my true spirit. I had to suppress myself for everyone else because I was afraid that if I shared what I really thought and how I was thinking, that I would be judged and made fun of. But since then, I've realized 3 harsh truths about high school friendships that no one talks about, and I want to share. Truth number 1, most high school friendships are built around proximity, not real connection. Throughout our childhood, we're forced to be around other kids by circumstance, not choice. The people you become friends with when you're younger are typically the ones that you're in school with or you play sports with. This is something that Mel Robbins talks about in her videos all the time, and I really love it. She talks about the 3 keys in a friendship: proximity, timing, and energy. One of the reasons today that I don't talk to anyone from high school is because I'm missing every single one of those keys. I'm not in close proximity with any of them. I'm at a completely different stage of life than them. Most of them are still in college and studying while I've been building a business. And because of that, I certainly wasn't vibing at the same energy as them. And that's something that Mel Robbins talks about. Because of these 3 keys of friendship, you have to learn that friendships come and they go, and you have to be okay with that. Let's go. Looks like we got a little shirt right here. I am a ginormous Kratom lover. I use it all the time. The benefits that I get when I take it is increased motivation, energy, focus. It overall just makes me feel like really happy and amazing. This is like super awesome for me to, get all of this, because this is the first time I've really had a brand say yes to working with me. I have a really small channel, but I do believe that the quality on my channel so far shows that it will scale into a really big channel one day. And what's even more awesome is that it's a product I actually love. Whether they wanted to partner with me or not, I would have always been a fan. So if you guys ever get a chance, you see these in your gas station, they are amazing. Give it a shot. That all leads me into truth number 2, which is keeping the wrong friends will hold you back. Probably all heard a version of the 5 people rule before. If you hang around 5 losers, you're gonna be the 6th. If you hang around 5 millionaires, you're gonna be the 6th. The reason I say that is because building my business, starting a YouTube channel, getting a cool package from a company, none of that ever would have happened or been possible if I were still hanging out with my old friends. I think at some point you really have to ask yourself, which of my friends around me do I wanna be like? Which of my friends around me inspire me? Which of them are conducive to the life that I dream to build? A lot of my old friends had victim mindsets, bad habits, negative cycles. And if you wanna grow, you gotta let go. Third truth is that protecting your peace is more important than hanging on to old connections. Back in high school, I didn't realize how much other people's energy affected me. But as I grew, I realized that staying connected to those same people was keeping me stuck. Protecting your peace means cutting off negative energy, limiting access to people that drain you, and protecting your mindset from the old you. If you're really trying to improve your life, you can't be hanging around with people who are slamming beers every weekend, talking about how high school was the greatest years of our life, when in reality, I'm too busy to think about that because I'm too busy building a life that's gonna be 10 times better than it was back then. Your peace is your ability to think clearly, stay focused, and make sure that your energy is right. And just because you've been friends with someone for a long time does not mean that you owe that person constant access. If you're always available for everyone else, when are you gonna be available for yourself? This video is about why I don't talk to anyone from high school, but it's not specifically about people just from high school. In general, I'm just very cautious about who and what I allow into my life. I have a deep understanding of how much other people's energy, words, and whatnot can affect my own life. Funny enough, there's been a few times where I've traveled back to my hometown, and occasionally I've met and hung out with some of my friends from the past. What's really interesting is the stuff that they're talking about now isn't any different from what they were talking about before. Everything they're talking about involves, did you hear about what happened to this person? Did you see what that person did? Etc. They're only talking about other people. Since for the most part, I've built a life where that kind of energy is completely cut off from me, I'm not aware of it. It's not a part of my reality. But when I went and I was put into that world, I could instantly feel my body filling with anxiety. I absolutely do not hate a single person from my past. And more than that, I am extremely grateful for every person that has ever been a part of my life. But I truly do believe that certain people are only meant to be in your life for seasons. If a friendship disrupts your peace, lowers your energy, or pulls you into a version of yourself that you've outgrown, it's time to let go. Thank you for watching this video. If you appreciated this piece of content in any way, please do me a favor and like, comment, and subscribe. On this channel, I'm documenting me scaling my business into a 7-figure company, me shredding down, getting my health in check, and just overall building the best life I can possibly ever imagine. And if you guys resonated with this at all, I want every single one of you to join me on my journey. Peace till next Sunday at 12.